All right, it is much quieter today. It is the final day. It's also lunchtime, but most of the people have left here on this Monday, and we've only got some scattered gaming happening. It's actually kind of tranquil. We got Triumph or Conquest and Consequence over here.
I think we all play once face down.
It's cool. It's a fun game. Got some Falling Sky action. 2 players, it looks like. We got 1812 Napoleon's Fateful March over here. Looks like they're actually in the middle of a game. France has made it to Smolensk, and De Bruges is next on the list. That's pretty cool that the French players made it that far. How far are they in the game? They are in. Oh, it looks like they started a scenario, so this might be a scenario setup. Looks like it's August, the 4th turn of August, that this maybe starts. That's cool. I played the campaign in the first scenario, but I've not played the middle of the middle scenarios. So Verdun is still set up over there with Amanda wanting to play it. They're cleaning up Angola. Looks like a game of Sword of Rome just wrapped up.
Yeah.
Who won?
Tuscan Samites. We're doing a new version of it for next year, and so we were testing a new short 3-turn scenario.
Oh, cool.
And well, happy with the balance, but yeah, the Tuscan Samites won by 1 point.
Oh, wow. We just played this a couple weeks ago at our club, and we had a rare Gallic victory.
Yeah, they can win early on.
Yeah. We got some prototypey stuff here. Oh, this is the new For the People. Looks like a extra large map, perhaps. Unconditional Surrender with an extra large map. And Paths of Glory, extra large map. And this must be someone who's showing off their ability to print stuff. Enlarged games, big ass games.
That's me.
Cool. That's you. You do these. Nice. This is awesome. It's a great size. Okay, what else we got going on here? We got Shakespeare's First Folio over here. Nice. Are you going to be around any longer, Kevin?
A little bit.
I would love to check this out when you're done.
Will do.
Awesome.
All right, so Archer.
We'll see if we can sneak that in. I'm going to get some food. I got some Combat Commander happening. And yeah, that's what's going on. Oh, Grant. Oh, okay. They're playing Napoleon's March. It looks like a lot of the wives and partners are here today, which is, final day. It's time to reclaim your husband. Is there anything going on in the side room? Downfall still set up. Packing up Plum Island Horror. Trevor's still here, so his game's still set up. So, yeah, this is kind of it. I might do one more circle around before I leave, but we'll give you a look here at my game of Angola, which I played for the first time. Finally got a chance to play Angola here at SDHistcon. First time I played it. I've owned this game for years, and I have yet to get it to the table, and then someone wanted to play a game, and so I decided to sign up on the last day, and here we are. So we made it about halfway through, turn 5, but some folks had to step away because it's the final day of the convention, so we ended it where we ended it. But we were doing okay. I was the FAPLA. I was the Soviet-supported that's allied here with the MPLA, the yellow, and we were doing pretty good. We controlled most of the eastern part of the country, and we were fighting against the UNITA that's from Southwest Africa, and the FNLA in green. He was about to bring the hammer down in northern Angola. He had captured Cabinda from the yellow faction, and I'm very scattered. I don't have a lot of good positioning for the units. Kind of confined to the coast where the FAPLA starts the game. And we've got a lot of major battles over here in the highlands in the center of Angola. The UNITA was turned back twice last turn, trying to take Novo Lisboa away from the MPLA. So the game is, I understand now why people think it's so smart and so interesting. It is truly a great game. And what's cool about it is that the asymmetry of the game is not built into the rules. It's built into the force pools of the factions and the units and the amount of units they have, and also these cards. So this is the game that kind of inspired Levy and Campaign in terms of the programmed turn structure activations. So you get these cards that can activate some columns. In your columns here, you can see here's a column A for FAPLA. So you put a deck together based on the turn you're playing, and you put them in the order that you want to activate, just like Levy and Campaign, and then you can move those columns and fight with those columns. Everyone's got a pass card or more that they have to put in their deck, except for green, they don't have one. And you have a couple other cards that allow you to do some non-combat movements and switch your column markers to, you know, make a different emphasis on your decision making. So every player is doing this, and their available cards are just slightly tweaked a little bit between powers. And then I think what's really cool is that each the game has, you know, basic units, but then there's a really interesting combat system that is all around die roll modifiers and dice differential, which I normally usually hate, but here it makes it really interesting and dynamic. You've also got these special units, these air groups, these artillery units, and then these armored cars, tanks, and some engineers, and they all have different effects. These provide die roll modifiers. You get some free rolls to before a combat starts with air and artillery to see if you can soften up the stack you're fighting. And the combat table, and then you look at the odds, and then each player rolls a die and adds their modifiers, and then based on the difference in the dice rolls, you move up or down the combat table to different odds columns. So it's very bloody and it's very chaotic, and really makes the game very dynamic. You push in one area, you might suffer a defeat, then you get pushed back, and it's just kind of all over the place and kind of really represents the messiness of what went on here. So it was a pretty close game. We were up one. Oh, I should talk about victory too. The victory track is really interesting. So this number, it starts at 20 and counts down, and as you win turns, meaning you have a net more victory point markers than the other team by capturing their cities, this marker goes down. And then when you get to a victory phase in a turn, if you and your partner, because it's a 2v2 game, if you and your partner have between the two of you a number of victory point markers equal to this value, you just straight out win. So as you score more, the game is more likely to end as you go through turn 10. So yeah, this was definitely a highlight of the convention. What a cool game. And like, you know, we kind of got through understanding it and started playing, and we knew we weren't going to play a whole game, but it was a great learning experience. And now I really want to get this to the table at home with my game group, because it was just a ton of fun. Everyone really loved it and learned a lot about how to play it well. So there you go, there's Angola. Less than 2 hours to go for the convention, and things have picked up a little bit in here. It's mostly stuff closing down, but you know, there's a few more people. We do have a game over here that I wanted to show you. It's a Cars game. Is this Is this Chalice of Poison or Tyranny of Blood?
This is Chalice of Poison.
Nice.
So, and actually, you have to do that twice.
So this is a car. He's doing a game about the Iraq
War.
Saddam that apparently just ended, and Saddam Hussein won. Is that what happened?
The moment Justin came over,
literally, Iraq won.
No, Iran won.
Iran won
because Iraq poorly managed their forces. So
it's too hard.
Iraq's powerful naval leader has taken over from Saddam Hussein as head of the country.
An admiral
did a coup, which I don't know how many times that's happened in history.
In the Middle East, specifically.
In the Middle East.
Well, that's extremely uncommon.
Saddam least expected it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty funny that happened. Okay, well, I've shown you all the games that are going on. I just got a chance to play Shakespeare's First Folio with Fort Circle, so we'll show you that, and then we're going to be out of here. All right, well, I just finished playing Shakespeare's First Folio playtest with Kevin from Fort Circle Games. How you doing?
Doing wonderful.
Final day of SDHistcon. Everyone's, I think, a little fried.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this game. Obviously, I just played it, and I really enjoyed a lot about it. But what was kind of the concept here? Because it's like kind of a trick-taking / worker placement game a little bit.
Yep. So actually, the Folger Shakespeare Library, which is in Washington, D.C., and actually has the largest collection of Shakespeare's First Folios, commissioned me to do a in-venue game for them, so as you go around the museum. And they thought, wouldn't it be great to also have a boxed game? And so I started the design, and then my wife came in as a co-designer, and it leans into a lot of the history of the plays and the printmaking process. The 36 plays that were in the first folio are the 36 plays in the game. They are separated by into 3 suits: histories, comedies, tragedies. The color of the suit matches the color of the flag that would be outside the Globe Theater if that play was playing that day. The numbers, it's the sequence they were printed in the first folio. And then the game plays out over 5 acts, which is fundamentally a trick-taking part and then a worker placement part that marries together well. And then in the epilogue, you score your points.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So here's the 3 different kind of suits: the histories, tragedies, comedies, and each of those different sections has different number values. So the trick-taking element is actually quite interesting because some of the suits have more cards than others, and you're trying to score at the end for either runs of sequential numbers or 3 of a kind of the same number, and then you're comparing yourself to what everyone else has published. So when you win a trick, you get to like put this in your publishing house. What I didn't expect to see on this was the sort of worker placement. So after you do the trick taking, the winner of the trick puts their card in their printing house, but the rest of the players get the resources on them. And you can see we did the playtest resources here. A lot of this stuff, by the way, is also playtest, I should mention. And then you go and you do some worker placement where you roll these dice that have resources on them. You can purchase or print the plays directly from a spread that comes out of the deck. And so this trick-taking game over the course of the game slowly whittles down the amount of cards that are available to each player, which is kind of interesting. What was kind of the genesis of the mechanics behind this, the idea around it?
Well, it was obviously going to be a trick-taker from the beginning because of the suits mimic are so natural from the first folio. But, you know, as in talking about it with my co-designer, who happens to be my wife, we definitely wanted another aspect where we could bring in who the people were who were involved in the process or around the process. And so we decided to include them, and the best way to marry something with trick-taking, we decided, was worker placement. And I think it works together fairly seamlessly. So
yeah, it's such a mashup of genres. It's really cool and interesting to think about, to get my head around the strategy of the game. I think we'll take a couple plays, which is really cool. There's no easy, I said to you, there's no easy answers, and you're like, okay, well, that's what I'm going for. This is going to be published by Fort Circle, obviously, and do you have like an estimated time that you're trying to get it out by? Or?
Yes, so we are going to be airmailing a handful of copies to the Folger in February. We expect it to be generally available in April. There's one little tiny caveat. The very first print run, because it was commissioned, is a rather small. It's 2,400, and those games are mostly allocated to the Globe Theatre in London and the Folger Shakespeare Library in DC. We will have about 600 to sell, but then there will be a second printing down the road.
Cool.
So if you want one early, reach out to me.
Cool, very awesome. Yeah, and if you want to check it out early, go to the Globe if you're in London, or the Folger if you're in the US. That's a really cool way to like have the game out there. So awesome. Well, thanks for showing me this. This is really fun. I really like this as a game of two genres that I really like.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. All right, well, I am back from SDHistcon. I just had a fantastic time. I wanted to close out this video to say, first of all, what a great convention. Easily the best year of this convention that I've been to. One of the most positive and connective experiences I've had at a gaming convention. The community there was great. It felt like every other person had their own prototype demo for people to play, and there was a lot of willingness to play those games. A couple of folks actually gave me prototypes to take home, which is so awesome. I can't wait to play them. I'll maybe do some coverage on the channel when I get time. Meeting Kevin and Florent and some of the other folks from the publishers was excellent. In general, just the vibe was super united, and it felt very positive. And, you know, I know Harold and the team at SDHistcon do a really... they make a strong effort to make sure that the cultural presence at the con is one that is positive and supportive. Everyone there loves games. Everyone there seems to want to make their own game, and everyone there is willing to play anything, really. So it was just a fantastic sort of familial social thing, more so than I've experienced at any other con. So I highly recommend it if you can't go. I played so many games. My brain is absolutely mashed potatoes right now. But I also want to say thank you to all the people who came up and talked to me, or who took the time to have conversations, whether it was about games or not, who I met for the first time or I saw again for, you know, a third consecutive year. It's just a great community. Every convention, I feel like it's the same community, just kind of at different events, but the community at SDHistcon is actually really excellent. And so, yeah, when people came up and recognized me and said hello, I was just very, like, kind of humbled by that. And everyone who played and checked out Seljuk and talked to me about game design and, you know, had the patience with my questions when I was learning games, or went into a session that I was teaching. It was just overall so fantastic. I played more games probably at this SDHistcon than I have at really any con in the last couple of years. So it was great in that regard as well, just to get so much stuff played, especially stuff that I hadn't played before or had wanted to play but hadn't gotten to the table. And yeah, and now that I'm back home, that's probably not slowing down. Our local gaming club, we've got a Wednesday war game night, and I'll be going there tomorrow, or Wednesday, tomorrow, I guess, when I'm filming this. And so it just doesn't stop. But yeah, I can't wait for next year's event. I'm going to try and make it out to a couple more cons that I didn't get to last year. I'm possibly going to Circle DC. We'll see how that goes. Definitely Game On in February here in Seattle. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more coverage. And I guess the one last thing I would say is thank you for all the comments about on the videos that I did from SDHistcon. I never really know if people like the convention videos where I like walk around, but the fact that I got a lot of comments, and comments in person at the convention as well for people who watch them, I really appreciated that. So I'll continue to do those kinds of videos to give a glimpse of like what's going on at all these events, and you can expect more from the channel on that from me. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video, whatever that happens to be.